I bet you're wondering, how did I get this amazing photo? Well, stay tuned for the whole story. Welcome back to my China travel series. Today we will be visiting the Li River scenic area. I stayed in a little town called Xingping, which is right outside of Guilin, as it's somewhat less touristy than the greater Guilin area. The Li River is known for its stunning scenery as it is surrounded by thousands of sharp limestone peaks. Nestled at the foot of these mountains, you can find Xingping Town, which is a cute little touristy village that opens directly onto one of the most scenic stretches of the Li River. Many of the bigger tour companies from Guilin stop in Xingping for the day, because it offers a variety of interesting tourist activities and unbeatable views of the river and the mountains beyond. Starting in the town center, you can access several trails that wind their way along the banks of the Li River, while passing some small, interesting fishing villages along the way. You can also choose from a wide variety of boat tours that cruise up and down the Li River all day long. No matter where you look while you're in this area, you are always constantly amazed by the scenery, as the beautiful waters of the Li River reflect the thousands of limestone peaks that surround them. Sunset and sunrise are particularly beautiful, as the high clouds often light up with the vibrant hues and are reflected by the mirror-like surface of the calmer sections. I got up at dawn almost every day while I was staying here and was rewarded with brilliantly colored sunrises painted across the calm waters. This was also my favorite time of day because of the peacefulness of the surroundings without the noisy chatter of tourists and the sound of boat engines. One of the other things that the Li River is famous for is its traditional cormorant fishing, which utilizes well-trained fishing birds, and has been featured all over the world in many documentaries. You can view many of these working cormorants sitting by the river early in the morning before the daily activities begin. However, I did notice that a lot of the birds weren't actually used for fishing, as it seemed like the locals were more reliant on tourist activities than fishing. At one point, I luckily stumbled on this one fisherman who was entertaining a Chinese tourist with a traditional song. Later, I found these cormorants resting, or maybe they were just covering their ears after hearing that song.
Today, I am here in the Yangshuo scenic area, part of the greater Guilin area. And I'm staying in a little town called Xingping, which is down the river here. But as you can see, there's like all this amazing harsh limestone scenery here. And it's a beautiful river behind me. Got big dramatic mountains everywhere. And you can take little cruises on the river with these boats right here, all motorized bamboo boats. Kind of cute, kind of thirsty. And they also have these guys doing the cormorant fishing. A little more like posing for photos than actual fishing, but it's still pretty cool to watch the birds. I'm gonna take a little hike today along the river, and I'll see what I see down the river.
After enjoying a beautiful and peaceful morning, it was time to take a walk along the river, as the peaceful vibe started being interrupted by the drone of motorized boats as the local tourist trade started waking up. However, there were still some peaceful sections along the river trail, with a few locals playing with their children next to the water. And some obnoxiously loud water cannons that were placed at strategic ambush points for the passing boats. The sweeping mountain views along the bank of the river were truly magnificent and seemed to stretch out in every direction. But despite the beautiful surroundings, the tourist traffic never seemed to let up.
Check out this endless parade of boats.
Even with the somewhat chilly weather in November, the boat tours seemed to be in high demand throughout the entire day.
A little bit of the view on the river trail here. Cows munching away. Beautiful mountains everywhere. gigantic mountains in the background. Just another day in China. Those things are crazy.
As the day progressed and the weather warmed up, when the sun came out, the never-ending parade of small bamboo boats was eventually joined by larger boats that were traveling all the way from Guilin to stop in Xingping for the
A
day.
lot of people. Look at all that traffic.
As I reached the end of one of the trails and decided to stop for some lunch, I had another little surprise as one of the local cormorant trainers approached me next to the river. I eventually figured out that she was actually trying to get me to take some selfies with one of her birds. It was fun to watch some of the local kids, though, interacting with some of these well-trained birds. And after being a little shy at first, they finally decided to get their selfies taken as well. While one of the ladies was taking photos of the bird, I took the opportunity to get some nice close-up shots of these voracious fish hunters. And then at last I succumbed to the temptation to get my own selfie. However, I think the lady didn't really know how to operate my camera properly, so I ended up with a lot of 1-second videos instead of actual photos.
Right back to Xingping town and my little tuk-tuk. Tried to bargain with this guy, but he wasn't having it. There's definitely chain smoking on the way. Here we have the Chinese selfie factory. Try to get in there. Fancy photos with the fishing boats. The funny thing is, I don't even see the old guys fishing. All I see are these like girls standing on the boats taking photos. It's very funny.
A little bit later, I was actually able to catch one of the fishing demonstrations, but unfortunately I was on the wrong side of the river to get a really good view of the show. However, it was still interesting to watch the birds perform their fishing skills for the tourist crowd.
I guess this guy is doing like a show with the birds to show how they can balance on the stick no matter what he does. So get some little fish treats for me. Look at that crowd though. In the basketball. Good job.
As the sun began to set over the water, it was time for the birds to get a much needed rest from their day of taking selfies and performing for tourists. And apparently this was an exciting time of day for them because it was also feeding time. And these hungry fishing birds definitely had a big appetite for tasty fish, which they gobbled down in a matter of seconds. After this satisfying meal and a little time to air dry their feathers, even the birds seemed to be enjoying the sunset colors and the reflections of the blue mountains upon the still surface of the water. However, as the sun got lower, it seemed like the tourist selfie trade kicked into high gear, as professional photographers with lighting gear lined up with models dressed in traditional costumes from the region. Although the selfie scene was a little bit chaotic at times with all the different flashes going off, and the photographer giving directions to the models and yelling over the crowd, the surrounding scenery was still very beautiful with the pastel colors becoming more vibrant. So of course I couldn't help but try to get a few photos myself, and these photos turned out to be actually quite beautiful, and a timeless memory of my trip to the Li River in China.